actually got a phone call or an email saying, "Hey, would you be interested in this job?" And I said, "What's that?" And they said it was a job that you did, which was the staff CMC for 7th Fleet. And
Oh,
so I actually got an email, and I was like, "Hmm, well, they're on the Blue Ridge. Blue Ridge don't get underway that much, and you get C pay." So I was like, "Yeah, I'll give it a shot." Actually, did an interview with the cause. It was weird because normally 06 jobs you don't get an interview, right? But I interviewed for this job. And I said, "Yeah, you're the guy." So I went from Sigonella back to Japan. And selfishly, one of the reasons why I really wanted to take that job was because the Blue Ridge went to Liberty Port to Liberty Port to Liberty Port to Liberty Port. And then now was a good opportunity for me to take my wife with me on these Liberty Ports that she didn't have the opportunity to do from the O'Brien or the Cushing or the Gary or the McCampbell or the Patriot for that matter. And now that my kids were older, I said,
yeah,
well, now Nikki will just be my Liberty buddy when we hop around all these places.
yeah.
And that lasted 7 days. So I get to Japan 7 days later, and then still checking in on the Blue Ridge as the first ever staff CMC officially for the 7th Fleet. And then the Fitz happened. So then they redirected me to go to the Fitzgerald because they just relieved the COXO CMC in about 13 people. And Fitz was in really bad shape, real bad shape. And so Toby Howitt, who was the 7th Fleet CMC at the time, pulled me aside and said, "Hey, um, we need you to go there for about 2 weeks, just some stability. You got tons of experience, ATG, CMC, surface experience, and then we'll get a relief in there." Okay, 2 weeks turned into 7 months, man. So then in December of 2017, Susie Whitman at the time was the fleet master chief. She came out to Japan, pulled me aside outside the CPO club. I remember it, and said, "You're not going back to the Blue Ridge because the Fitzgerald was just on its way. We'll have to take her to Pascagoula, Mississippi to get repaired." And she says, "You're not going back to the staff CMC job. You're going to go stand up this new command. We don't know what it's called yet, but they're standing up the new command here in Japan because of the collision of Fitzgerald and John S. McCain." And so I left that job, checked out of 7th Fleet, and went to Naval Surface Group Western Pacific as the first CMC at that command. And then did that for about 3.5 years, a little longer than I expected. Um, but that was getting it all set up and trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Looking back at that whole transition, man, um, what did you think about the ability for another master chief to pull those levers to move your life around, to change your situation? Do you think that's how it should go?